But
that's what she said.
I believe we're live, yeah. I never found that one. What are you talking about? Okay, so we're joined by Newcastle death metal band Acherontia Styx. First of all, have I pronounced that correctly? And what the bloody hell is it?
Paul, that's got to be you, man.
Yeah, you certainly have pronounced it spot on. It's the Latin name for the lesser hawk, death head hawk moth. Basically the one from Silence of the Lambs. Remember they found the seed pod in the back of the throat of one of the victims? That's the Latin name for that moth.
Yeah, sorry, I got a bit confused then. Do I have a bug yet? Yeah, I know. I am bloody confused now with what's going on. Oh, hold on.
I think we just got a little bit of delay here, man.
Hold on 1 second. This bloody thing, so I was opening another window and it was talking at the other window and I thought I'd muted it, but it was going on, so I was hearing that like 5 seconds ago, plus you guys. All right, so Acherontia Styx named after is it Death's Head Moth, did you say?
Yeah, it's the lesser hawk death head moth. I forget the proper full name for it in English, but it's from Silence of the Lambs. It was the one that was found in the throat of the victim that pulled from the river.
Bill.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill. That's certainly where a lot of the influence came from for the early writing process.
Right.
That sort of fictional serial killer thing.
Right, and that's why you went up with that name, because you started off like doing serial killer themed music or serial themed killer songs.
I mean, back in the early days, we were certainly more black and death metal. I mean, this is going back to 2007 when we first formed.
Yeah.
And I mean that incarnation of the band doesn't exist now. But that's the sort of thing we were writing. It was all very much horror themed, but more serial towards the fictional serial killers. Mike Myers and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, kind of standard death metal kind of fare, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I was looking, you read around to 2007. We never actually started putting out any releases till like 2018, 2019, at least according to Metal Archives, anyway.
Yeah, we did. We did actually have a release that was ready to come out. It was through a very obscure label, and that went bust. They were called Infest Records. They went bust, and we lost our recording, all the recordings for that. The only ones that survived were the ones that we had, but they were not mixed. We didn't have the proper mix downs to be able to take them and finish them ourselves. We kind of got a bit screwed over, to be brutally honest. As a result of that, I mean, we tried to continue, but as a result of that, I think everyone was just, ultimately fed up. And at one point, we just gave up. And the name sort of drifted into complete obscurity. And it wasn't until about
2017. Like Paul got in touch with me and one of the other original guys from the band and said, let's have a go at making some music together. And because it was, 3/4 of what had originally been there, and decided to resurrect the name, as had happened over the course of, the time when, the band was completely in the void. Life got in the way a little bit, shit, stuff happens to people that stops them being able to do what they want to do. So we kind of drifted in and out of contact for about 2 years up until last year, where we finally thought, right, look, we've been writing for quite a while now with a very, very slow pace, but we're putting out some stuff that we're really enjoying. So let's put our foot on the gas a little bit and actually get this out, see what the public thinks of it. And nobody's really had anything too bad to say about it, have they?
Yeah. And you've got quite a few anyway. Sorry.
I'm saying not yet anyway. Like nobody said anything bad yet, so well.
Yeah.
So who's the sort of like who formed the band? Was it Paul and Grant that formed the band? You guys, Adam and Jake, are a bit more recent into the band, or when did you join, Adam? What's your story?
I joined. Was it August last year?
It was.
So it's about a year. I think you said it was a year anniversary the other day. Well, I've known Grant for many, many years because I used to drink in his pub that he ran.
Same.
Probably from like, I'd say about 15 years ago. I've known you about 15 years, I'd say.
Give or take, mate, yeah.
And we've always got on and stuff like that, and I always knew he was in bands and stuff like that. And we've been in a couple of bands before, but it never really went anywhere. Just like obviously because what he said, like people go separate paths and stuff like that. But yeah, like I got talking to Grant just by chance last year because I'd seen that they'd started the label, and I was like, "Oh, you got a record label and stuff like that." And then just one conversation led to another, and I was like, "Well, do you need a guitarist?" sort of thing. And he says, "Well, we'll look into it, and like, well, I'll speak to Paul about it." And then basically they were just really cool and just said like, "I will send us some of your playing, and we'll watch some videos on Facebook." And basically within like a day, I was in the band. Like it wasn't like no, just get we'll have you. And Jake's known Grant for a long time as well.
Yeah, I mean, Grant's as Adam says, like Grant's seen us at our best and at our worst in the pub.
Definitely.
So he knows. But I guess did I join sort of around January, February time? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was
the end of January.
End of
just
January.
Before lockdown.
Yeah, it wasn't long before lockdown. Like,
but yeah, like so as like a drummer with our mostly like digital setup, I haven't had a lot to do yet, other than a spot of singing and a bit of advice and help with like arrangements and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be fun when we can actually practice again.
Let's have a practice. No.
You can't all practice like this, like in your own homes kind of thing. Like, I imagine that'd just be a bloody noise, wouldn't it? If you tried to practice like online together, that would just be nothing but a bloody chaotic noise.
Yeah, I would imagine like the lag would be awful. Like it would just be like the songs would be so out of time. You'd have to like pre-record your part and then put the video up on the screen, like just for it to be in time. It would be awful.
Yeah. So you've not actually done any practices together in the same room for a while then, or
at all?
Yeah,
no. We were getting into the process of getting those practices booked when lockdown happened, because obviously Jake had only just come on board in order for us to be able to, play live instead of arranging everything digitally. And then the fucking plague hit. Didn't do anything by halves, you know what I mean?
It's been an awkward year for bands and other people, I suppose. Tell us about your releases then, because since 2018, 2019, you've done 3 singles, EP, and a full length on the way?
Well, what we did last year with a slightly different lineup, me and Paul and the rest of the people who were in that lineup, we'll just leave that reference there. We put out a 4-track called Your Possible Pasts. A lot of the early influence for what you were talking about, influences on the band name and that kind of thing. There's 2 tracks on that album that are directly kind of written and influenced from Thomas Harris's writings. It's kind of where we started the writing process when we got back together, with some like familiar topics and, some movie themes and literature themes that me and Paul had in common. So that came out, and then there was a change up in the lineup, which is when Adam came in, and we thought, let's just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. So we're putting together Shadow and Flame, the album. It's another Tolkien reference along with Aradelph Records. Started writing into that, and then again the plague hit, and it just kind of disrupted the communication between us, and slowed things down a little bit. We've got
you fucked it, Ulrich. We're running past like that. Everyone's laughing at your little gay little run now. Fuck off.
I'll give him a $5 if he does the next one naked.
You said give you a $5 if you do the next one naked. No. So Acherontia Records, is that your label? You put that label together, and is it just you and Dylan Fowler that's on it now, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's we've got there's us on it, Acherontia Styx. There's my solo project on there. We've got Adam's solo project, Fractured Planet, on there. We've got another project of mine, DTS Overdrive, which is like this sort of Tangerine Dream stuff we spoke about the other day. That's it so far, but we are looking to expand that as well.
So you're thinking of like getting more bands in than that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you've not been able to do anything. Tell us about the new album. What's the was it Shadow and Flame? Was it? Got the bloody name of the new album now. Yeah, Shadow and Flame.
Yeah, Shadow and Flame. Yeah.
It's Tolkien. It's Lord of the Rings. What's the song about on there?
Who wants to go first?
Who writes the lyrics? Do you write the lyrics, Grant?
The majority of the lyrics on that album have been written by me, but there's a few of the tracks that Paul's done, and one of the tracks that Jake's done lyrically written the lyrics for as well. As far as the lyrical theme's concerned, the way that I see it between us guys, like Paul writes very, very kind of emotionally. He writes his lyrics kind of based on, he'll take like a theme or a mood or something like that and be able to expand out on that beautifully. I tend to be a little bit more literal. I'll take a subject matter, I'll kind of write a story with the way that I write stuff. And Jake is kind of somewhere in between.
He's an
I'll
anomaly.
let them talk about their own lyrics.
Yeah.
I mean, I can start if you want. A lot of the stuff you mentioned when we're in the sound, kind of checking the sound and everything. Yeah, I take a lot of literature. The most recent song, Cursed Love's based on a novel by Jeff Noon. It was written in the 90s. It's like a post-apocalyptic train spotting. It's a really, really messed up novel, but won loads of awards and all of that kind of thing. From a lyrical perspective, the way that I write, I tend to, like I say, try and get a broader story that I want to tell, as opposed to simply kind of going after a single emotion.
Yeah.
One of the songs I've written, it's called Hurricane of Pains. And it's basically, I've took it from the point of view of how depression, obviously the black dog of depression. It's been a theme that's it's certainly used as hashtags and stuff. I've took it from the literal point of view that depression is like a hunter, like a black dog stalking its prey, and how that person is evading basically, the two hunters. One is hunting the other.
Right. On the run kind of thing.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I mean, I took a little bit of inspiration from Wolves in the Throne Room's Two Hunters album, where the whole album is literally about a bear and the hunter, and each track is from the point of view of the others as you go through the album. I kind of took a little bit of that kind of inspiration into the song.
Yeah, is that something you suffer from? That you get the black dog shadowing down on you kind of thing?
I mean, I think everyone does. I mean, obviously, this lockdown situation just doesn't help at all, does it?
No,
it's really terrible.
Yeah,
been having some gnarly nightmares, and that's certainly, I've certainly made a lot of notes for future songs that we'll be able to use.
Yeah. What about the other guys? You guys ever any input on the lyric side?
Yeah, so I'd kind of taken a song. I mean, it's definitely Paul did write about half the lyrics. I'd say definitely a full verse.
4 lines, man, 4 lines.
Yeah, I took it and I'm stretched it into a song. But it kind of started out. The one I wrote was Evolution. It kind of started out your standard machine apocalypse type of idea, like Terminator, all that shit. But then. Then the angry politics bled in, which is my writing style. Leave us long enough and I'll just start going off about something like that. But basically just
album. It's not a concept album. It's so many different things going on in the same album.
I guess, yeah. Or it's just what we're all feeling right now, that social media is eroding people's free will and making everyone complacent. That old hat.
He's got a point, though,
that's a theory for another day, though. I
think we should get into it now, man.
On social media, we should
all the Tories
right now as well.
So, you had no lyrics in your have you got a song in your soul?
No, I've never been able to write lyrics to save me life. Never. Literally, you can put a guitar in my hand and I can write any song you want. But lyrics have never been. This just goes completely blank. I don't know. I've never been able to. Right. So I'm the fret wanker of the band.
Right, yeah, because on Metal Archive, you're saying you were drums and guitar. Was it you that said that you got drums and guitar? Metal Archives, was you drumming at one point as well?
I program the drums. So,
and
I've had Jake telling me, because Jake's obviously a drummer, we've known each other for years.
I'm like
Jake's the drummer now. So, but he gives us tips on how to write drums and stuff. Yeah, drum supervisor, basically, yeah.
So the new album was, I mean, according to Metal Archives, it came out in April, but you obviously held it back because of all the COVID and whatever. So it also says it's only got 4 songs on it. So how many, well, it's come out 2 weeks' time. How can people get hold of it? Would it be a physical CD release or will it be digital only? And how many tracks has he got on there now? Because according to Metal Archives, it's only got 4, but...
All right, I'll do it then.
Yeah.
So basically the way that had worked is we released a couple of singles prior to the album for when it was supposed to come out in April, May time, and then everything got disrupted and all the rest of it. So I think where that information's come from, on the Daredevil Records Bandcamp, there's 10 tracks listed, but at the time only 4 of them were live. That's now 5 with the most recent song, Cursed Love, on there. And then the other 5 are going to go on. Initially, we'd done it as a pre-release with 2 tracks, Dressed in You and As Above, So Below, that came out last year. And it was a case of, here's what we've already put out for it, pre-order it, and then you can get, the rest of the album when it comes out. And because of a worldwide plague, the dates kept shuffling back and back and back. So we've just decided to keep adding the singles as and when the mixes became ready. Not being able to get into studios and do the fine tuning that needed to be done on any particular parts, especially from a vocal perspective, where me, Paul, and Jake all kind of spreading the love as far as the vocals is concerned. The inability to record meant that these bits that need doing couldn't get done, so it's just gone back and back and back. Anyway, it's coming out in a couple of weeks. We don't really stress ourselves too much. We're like, getting dates and what have you. Over the lockdown, we have kind of had our moments of stress.
You can't just take it each day as it comes.
Yeah, totally. Couple of weeks' time, and it's going to be 10 tracks. So it'll be the 5 that are already out there and 5 that nobody's really heard before. That we released a little snippet of one of the tracks at the beginning of the year, because that's a duet that I'm doing with the singer from Cyanide Paradise, Lynn Liv. They're a Dutch-based melodic death metal band, and she's got a hell of a voice. It's like 2 cheetahs fucking each other to death. It's an absolute banshee of a voice. I had to get something like that in there, guys.
Yeah, you did.
Nice endorsement.
So that's going to kind of be like the, when the other 5 tracks come out, that's going to be the one that we're going to push along with one of the other tracks, something that's coming from a little bit of a heavier side of things, because there's definitely I wouldn't say a line in our style, but we've got tracks out there like As Above, So Below, where Paul does a lot of the lead, and there's the kind of the black metal kind of wail that he does that's as awesome as it is, with me singing low backing vocals, and that's an intensely heavy song. Listening to that song on its own, nobody would go, they're a melodic death metal band. They'd be like, it's burning my brain.
That one's my favorite, by the way. Check it out. Excellent.
I do.
That's the first song I wrote for the band, wasn't it?
Oh, is it?
Strictly speaking, the first one was Dressed in You, but you wrote that song 12 years ago.
Oh yeah, even I helped write that one.
Yeah.
Dressed in
From
You.
joining As Above, So Below was the first one.
Is that Buffalo Bill Dressed in You? Sounds like it.
A little bit. It was when me and Jake and Adam were in a band together about 12 years ago. It was one of about 3 or 4 songs that we got completed before everything kind of went tits up. It's kind of like Dressed in You meets Martyrs, because I just finished watching the French horror movie Martyrs, and the bit at the end is a big reveal. Have you seen it? Yeah?
It's very jolly.
Right. As long as you've seen it, I'm not going to give away the spoilers for anybody else that's watching this. Like, if there's anybody watching this, we're probably sitting here talking to ourselves.
10 people according to the feed.
That's not too bad, actually. Hello, that's 10 people. Yeah, because I just watched that. There was the kind of the concept of once somebody had been skinned, that they were actually still alive after it had happened, and they're watching you dance around, watching me dance around in their skin. But yeah, we just kind of decided to resurrect that for Adam coming in because it's a killer riff. It's absolutely
it is
brutal.
It's actually my favorite song.
I do love it. I love singing it. It gets so intense with it.
Yeah, that is actually a question. Slim Comics and More wants to know what's your favourite song to date and why. So if you want to go around and just answer that question each yourself, just a quick, what's your favourite song by you guys and why is it your favourite song?
Yeah, I can go.
Go.
So yeah, for me, it's definitely As Above, So Below, because after the first kind of black metal section, it kicks into this like real heavy like death groove riff. I just absolutely love it. And then the double bass comes in, like, oh, it's beautiful. Just check it out. It's on Bandcamp. Just check it out.
But
I'll go next. Dressed in You. Simply the lyrics, the riffs, everything of that song. It's heavy as. I'm not one for swearing, but it's heavy as fuck. I absolutely love that track. Yeah.
Next,
I'm still thinking. Adam, do you want to go?
Yeah, my favourite song by the band, I would have thought would have been As Above, So Below, but once I wrote it and recorded it, Pleasures of a Flesh. I mean, I don't know where I came up with the riffs for that. I remember it was just one Saturday afternoon. I was just sitting there writing. I had a new plugin on the computer, and I just came up with these riffs. And then I sent the guys the track, and then Grant was like, "Oh, and work with this." And it just got heavier and heavier and heavier. And yeah, it's just the combination of the riffs in a row that I wrote. It just makes it my favourite. It just flows so nicely. But
is
also
it like
being
your baby?
heavy.
You gave birth to it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's because I think it's got about 10 different riffs in the song. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like it just keeps changing and changing and changing. It's like it's very progressive, but not like proggy in that sense. It's like progressive death metal. It's just like it keeps changing and changing, and like there's like themes that go on throughout, but the riff changes underneath them. It's you'd have to hear it to understand what I'm saying about it. But yeah, I think you will like it as well. Yeah, so that's my favourite one.
Like both of the guys, well, the two of the guys there have like kind of encapsulated what my favourite would be, because I adore As Above, So Below, and I think Pleasures of Flesh is a very, very like kind of close second from like riff and structure perspective, and just how much it absolutely blasts your face off. I don't know, artistically, like from the ones that I've written lyrically, Your Possible Pasts off the first EP was my favourite to write, just based on what I actually contribute towards the song, because the set of lyrics that I came up for that song I still think are some of the best that I've ever written, and encapsulating kind of a mood and like a situation that was given to us. So it's definitely not a heavier song. It's probably not our best song from a structure point of view, but lyrically I adore it.
Right. So As Above, So Below, what's that? Earth and Hell, or Heaven and Hell, or Heaven and Earth? Is there anything to do with that?
Well, it's funny because they said about a name for it, and I came up with the name, and I thought like this sounds like it would fit, and I didn't even have any like backstory to why it would fit. I just it just sounded good, and then obviously Paul just went like, well, it'll be about this then, and like. So luckily I didn't have to write any lyrics for it. It was just like, I'll give you the title. I've wrote it. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, lyrically, it comes from all over the place. It's essentially like rage, absolute blind rage. And I was kind of thinking, how I can't really put it into words, but it was I didn't really take any influence from the film of the same name. I suspect probably some people will think it's to do that, but it isn't. Yeah, it's just literally blind rage and anger at the state of the world. It's probably the only political song I've ever wrote. There is a little bit of sort of politics of, how just frustrating things are.
Okay. So who's the above people and who's the below people? Is it to do with class, or the haves and the have-nots, or
it actually doesn't it doesn't really do that. It's just more an absolute rant.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's just sounding title, so.
Was it sever the head of the serpent? I don't know, maybe. I can't really describe it, to be fair.
Well, you see, the royal family are lizard people, right? So they
and the ship is hovering in space, a bit high above us, looking down on us and influencing our lives.
This guy gets it.
You're getting it, mate.
I'm expecting a whiteboard to come up behind Jake in from his school.
You're right, you see that. Lizard people.
Yeah,
reverse vampires.
I've made a presentation. So when did you actually record the new album then? Have you actually been doing, because I know you do a lot of stuff in your own homes, don't you? You got your own studio in your, Paul Dinnerfell's got his own studio in his house. I mean, are you recording your own stuff in your own houses and sending it to the other people, or did you have it all recorded back before the COVID came along? How have you been putting it all together?
Well, basically with me, I would record like a song out of nowhere. Like the guys will tell you, like, I'll just go like, oh, I've got a new song. You're like, what? Why? Like, and I'll send it over. And then that's basically like how most of this album was like written. I'll just like sit down one day and like spend a few hours and I'll just go like, oh, I've got this. But I don't do demos. The guys will tell you it's like polished to the point of release before the vocals are even put on. Because I do something called top-down mixing. It's proper nerdy and stupid, but like I already have like me template in Cubase set up, so it sounds perfect as I'm recording it. There's no like tweaking to be done.
Wow.
And that's just like I'm proper OCD about stuff like that. So I'll send the track over, and then Grant will like, I'll write something to that, and then like a few days later he'll have lyrics for that, and then that's just how most of the songs were born.
Well, and then he put parts in it, and then they had the drum parts afterwards, that kind of thing.
Well, no, I did all of it, bass and everything. Like, so like I would just go like, I've got a drum groove in my head, and then I'll put something down. I'll just keep adding on to it, and then if there's any revisions need to be done to it, say like Grant wants a bit longer than the other, like I'll just copy and paste a bit in. You know what I mean? It's just like it's quite a quick process that we had. So it wasn't as if we had to go to a proper studio to like record all these things.
There's so much science going on now with writing music. You don't just go into a room and record it with a few microphones. You've got your fucking laptops and programs and all that kind of shit you can do now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Paul's got a little studio cupboard thing going on, haven't you? But I basically just shout into the wardrobe because it's got some sound dampening, but like I'm just like crammed in a corner. It works.
I have to go up to Paul's to record because the area that I live in, it's not bad, you know what I mean? But somebody screaming at the top of their lungs, there's going to be blue lights outside of my house after 10 minutes. So
I just do it in the daytime when the neighbors are outside enjoying the sun.
Right. So I suppose in this sort of respect, like not having to go to the studio and not having to record in the studio must sort of save a heck of a lot of money. Sort of, if you've got once you bought the equipment, of course, it saves you a lot of money.
Well, basically, all I spent on recording the album was new guitar strings.
That's good.
That's it. Actually, I tell a lie. I bought a new plug-in for that purpose. So I spent about £80 recording the album.
Yeah.
So that's still not bad.
Chris was asking earlier on about when the COVID shit is all over, will you be doing gigs? Have you actually, because all this, like Jake's only been about for a little while. Adam's been about for a year. We've had 6 months. You've not even been able to really meet up with each other. Are you going to be able to play together in a studio and play all your bits together at the same time rather than playing along to a track that's been sent to you from somewhere else and like being in your cupboard and shouting in your cupboard? Are you going to be able to sort of get it down and actually kick out some live gigs?
Yeah. I'd love to as well. Like that's kind of like where I would like shine, I think, like in a live situation. But yeah, it's just we're just kind of being careful at the moment. Like we probably could book a practice technically, but we've all got families to look after and stuff like that. We're just like making sure like there's definitely like the lowest risk possible before we, go and get into anything, basically.
Yeah. Have you done? Have you been in previous bands and gigged before, and in other bands, or did you gig before this all came about back in the day?
Yeah, I suppose all of us have technically, haven't we? Like over time, me and Adam have been in like quite a lot of bands, like in the sort of 2010s, like slightly earlier and stuff like that. Grotty bands that played in pubs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Didn't get paid and stuff like that, like you got like bigger tokens and stuff. But
because you were playing in my pub.
Aye, that's why.
What is your
so it's fine. But I mean, me and Jake have played in bands for years, and we've got sort of this weird like telepathic thing going on. We know what the other one's going to do. So I think that always works really well in the practice room with me and Jake in regards to that. And Grant's always been able to do vocals over our music, so. It's just I think.
What's the scene like other than playing in Grant's pub? I mean, Newcastle's always had quite a good scene, hasn't it, up there? But is it? I mean, have pubs taken a blow with this COVID? Is any venues shut down? Because there's always been venues shutting down. It always seems like the scene is getting smaller because of all these fucking money and shit. What's it like up there? Are you all in Newcastle? Is it a good scene in that area?
Normally it is. I can't think of anywhere. Off the top of my head with regards to like the music venues that are established up here that have shut down. Trillions has reopened, obviously the Academy or whatever the hell it's called now. That's going to be all right. The Arena's doing its socially distanced gigs. The Riverside's still going strong.
I think Head of Steam's okay as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, Head of Steam are back open as well. And, a lot of the smaller pubs where, you do play kind of the upstairs room and all of that kind of thing. It's always going to be there. It's just how long it's going to take to bloody recover. You know what I mean? The bigger end of the gigging side of things, I think, is going to take a bit of a hit. Touring and all that kind of stuff. Kind of jokes aside about kind of playing in each other's pubs and all that. The guys have obviously played other places. I've been gigging since I was 15-year-old on and off. So I've played some fairly decent places, but I don't think anybody's going to dare tour it. All it takes is one localized lockdown or 2 or 3 localized lockdowns on a tour schedule, and the touring musicians are going to be absolutely screwed by it. So that's why, as Paul said at the beginning, nobody can really see anything happening for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I know there's we've got a regular monthly event here in London, Retribution Alive, and they've been doing like online gigs, bands like just recording in their houses and like streaming it online. They like do one a month. Is that something you'd consider doing, or is that the logistics of that not really there for you?
If I set a drum kit up in my house, the missus would divorce me.
Not even an argument. But yeah, like that kind of thing is cool. I've seen a few of them myself, but it's definitely something to like tide the bands over in the meantime. And you could even kind of like work it into some weird videos, really, couldn't you? Like depending on how you record it, you could get something good out the other end of it. But it's something I'd consider.
Our recording dynamic was already what bands are having to do now before the COVID thing hit, because it was just me, Paul, and Adam bouncing stuff back and forward on Google Drive. Jake's come in at a point where that dynamic was already going, you know what I mean? And unfortunately hasn't been able to get behind a kit, but we were adapted before music had to adapt because of the way that we were writing stuff,
We're kind of split up geographically as well. Like we're not that far apart, but like there's a good 40-minute drive between like us and Adam kind of thing. So
so I'm by myself in Sunderland.
Right. Oh God, I didn't think Sunderland and Newcastle spoke to each other, but you're like dreaded enemies.
Well, I think I grew up in Sunderland anyway.
But I mean, I like football, but these guys don't, so it doesn't really matter. And and I think that's a load of piss anyway. All that hitting each other for a football team.
I went up to Sunderland for a West Ham match once. It was a good stadium you got there.
It is, but our fans are idiots. They always ruin everything for everyone involved.
Newcastle fans are no better. Oh, we won. Let's smash
No,
up
I
the big
know
one.
that. Yeah. And you add the two together, Sunderland and Newcastle fans, and that's when horses get punched and everything.
Oh, God.
Going back to something I was asking earlier on, we didn't say if you was going to have a physical release of the new album. We talking about the digital, but if it's going to bring out a CD, any vinyl, anything like that?
We're going to try. The funds for the record.
Paul mentioned vinyl, didn't he?
Yeah. I would like to get it out in vinyl. I mean, obviously, vinyl it's very collectible, but it's one of those things you've got to calculate with your overheads of getting a run of vinyl is obviously very expensive, and then if it doesn't sell, you've got a lot of very expensive vinyl sat around in your house, and not a lot in your bank account.
No, very expensive place settings.
Yeah.
Those 10 people that are watching, like each of you go and buy like 5-6 t-shirts each. How many t-shirts have we got on TeePublic? Get all 10. Go and get all 10, and then we can do a vinyl release. That's how we do it.
Well,
basically, that's what we'd like to do. Obviously, if we got some t-shirt sales behind us, that would help us fund the vinyl.
Talking about the technology is coming and changed the way music is recorded, particularly for you guys. But also, there's new ways of financing stuff like I can't remember the name of the sites now. There's various sites where you can make projects and people can put money in, like crowdfunders. I think it's a crowdfund site. You get that kind of thing. If you consider Patreon, for example, have you tried or considered doing something like that, like a new way of raising money from your fans?
I've definitely putting our OnlyFans together.
What you mean? I'm the only one who's got one?
I've just worked out how to get on the comments, and there's somebody just like putting our lyrics in the comments. That's mad. Sorry, I wasn't listening at all.
I saw that. Tejas. I don't know why. I don't know if he's looked them up. I'm not sure if he's in. I'm not really sure if he likes metal, but he plays Skyrim on Fallout. So maybe he's discovered your music. Maybe you got a new fan. Hopefully.
If he's a Fallout fan, I'll be mates with him. Well done.
Exactly, same.
I'm assuming it's Fallout.
Back onto the crowdfunding point. Like we had discussed possibly like a Kickstarter or something similar, but I think we'd sort of realize that it puts a lot of pressure on the people taking the money. Like we definitely wouldn't want to disappoint people in that kind of way. And it felt a bit strange ethically to like take money up front before we've sort of proven anything. But it's definitely like a great tool for like starting bands and stuff like that. It's just we just want to be careful more than anything on anything like that.
So I think with this, like, we'll get the album out and then prove to people why they should give us money.
Yes.
Or get it out there digitally. There's loads of people who still love vinyl. Get it out there digitally, and then like do a crowdfund. Find out how much it will cost you to get like 300 printed or 500, whatever you think is a reasonable number. Find out how much it's going to cost you, then make that your target. And then once you've hit that target, you can just bloody well print them up and send them off to the people who've put their money in.
Totally, man. You got to view digital music at the moment as advertising. Obviously the internet is awash at the moment with people talking about Spotify and the other streaming services and how little musicians are getting paid and what have you. You can't look at that as a revenue stream. We've just got to obviously hope that people that are streaming it on Spotify then go and think, oh, you know what, I'm going to pay £8 or £9 and actually get the downloads of this album properly. Paul's put some beautiful artwork together for it. We're still kind of compiling the artwork, but it's looking absolutely gorgeous. So hopefully enough people are going to go, actually, this kicks ass, and buy it, and then we'll go, here's some vinyl. Let's get some really, really cool stuff put together. T-shirts. That's what you need to buy. T-shirts.
The PDF book that is very nice that Paul's putting together. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Gorgeous.
So this is the art for the new album. So what's that all about? Tell us about the art for the new album. What's it based on? What's the influences on it?
So the front cover is there's a tree approximately 2 minutes walk from the back of my house that I don't know when it happened, but someone's burnt it. But it's burnt through the center, and the tree is weirdly still alive, but it looks like it's got a demon's face.
Could be a thunder strike, maybe lightning strike.
Potentially, or there's been a hole in it at some point, and it keeps getting set on fire. The local kids, when they get bored, they keep setting it on fire. The fire truck turns up every now and again, and it's. I was just walking past it one day, and I thought, you know what, I think that would look awesome on the front cover. So I took a few photos, and I know, Grant, you'd had a fire pit in your back garden, and you took some pictures of the glowing embers in your fire. And so I started sort of blend them together, and I wouldn't say I'm a particularly good digital painter, but I had a bit of clot on and just basically knocked it up. So it just looks like a demon, a big demon tree. But I was kind of thinking at the time when I did it, something a little bit like the Balrog. From Lord of the Rings. Obviously, with the title being Shadow and Flame, that's about the Balrog. And I was kind of thinking that kind of look, this demonic tree. Obviously, I couldn't go and do a Balrog because copyright and stuff.
Well, you can make your own depiction of it, couldn't you? You could make your own version.
Yeah.
Band promotion. Are you all involved in that? I mean, are you embracing the technology of all the social media and all going out there and plugging your stuff everywhere you can?
I try.
Yeah,
I try. I mean, I do bits on Instagram. That's about the limits. I've to be honest, everything to do with Facebook just goes completely over my head. I just don't understand how it works. But I know Instagram a little bit, in terms of the hashtags. But
yeah, Grant's the one who's trying to plug his mind at the algorithm and try and figure that stuff out.
That's what I'm doing right now. It's just Zuckerberg in me ear.
We'll see if he comes out the other side.
You can block my style.
I would say you should do more stuff on YouTube as well. Each of you do playthroughs and that kind of thing. There's a big vinyl community on YouTube as well. If you was active on that, sharing your vinyl, people would be interested when your album comes out, want to buy your vinyl and that kind of thing. It's all that networking. And I've got a tip here, a hot tip from my mate over Easy Mode. He says, put a hot chick on the album cover with that demon.
Wait till you see the next music video, mate. You're going to wank yourself senseless. Really it's going to be down to a stump.
Been there, done that, mate. Been there, done that. That's what I was going to ask you about that, because you were saying you actually do a lot of video stuff for all the bands you said on Drow Delph, didn't you?
Yeah, if anything goes out that's a video release, I think all of them have been me. I just started clotting around with video editing software for my OnlyFans, and then I started enjoying it. So whenever we've got a new song out, I try and put a video together, and the more time I've got to put a video together, the better it is. Album tracks and what have you, a lot of Paul's album and a lot of Adam's album are just there on streaming videos, but the ones that are actually showing some footage and telling a story and all the rest of it, always try and keep it relevant. Adam's stuff, with it being really apocalyptic and all the rest of it, I love doing the videos for him, for the Fractured Planet stuff, because it's just I'm going to make my own Terminator. Right.
Are these all up on the Acherontia Styx YouTube channel, or was it Drow Delph YouTube channel?
Drow Delph Records. Just search it and you find it.
Okay, because I was going to say, I've just put the link in for the Acherontia Styx YouTube channel. So if anyone's interested, sub them up. I think the comments or the links to all your pages are in the blog. The link should be down below to the blog post with all your links in there. So if anyone wants to add up that, then go ahead and do that. I've just posted the link in the chat, and hopefully that will get you a few more subs on there. So they're all on the Drow Delph records. They've got search at Drow Delph to find all the different music videos you've done for all the different Drow Delph bands.
Yeah, that link that you've just put up is the Drow Delph Records one. So that's got us. It's got Adam's solo stuff. It's got Paul's solo stuff. Absolutely everything is in there. If anybody clicks on the playlists bit, then I've got all of the bands sorted into a playlist for everything that we've got out at the moment. Sorry, I tell a lie, Paul. It's just his last album. I've still got to add the one before it. But yeah, you get to hear everything that's on the label. Obviously, listen to Styx first, because screw these other two guys. They can do their interviews on their own.
Yeah, let them do their own promotion. Yeah, exactly. So that's actually talking about that side project. So say, talk to Adam about Fractured Planet, or maybe he wants to have a few minutes to share the Fractured Planet with us.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah. Well, it all came about last year. I was like, I didn't have any bands going at the time. I was probably in a few like crappy gigging club bands, you know, where you get paid pennies for it. And I was like, I want to do something like for me, for once, you know, like style I like. And I'm heavily into like Arch Enemy and Death Clock and stuff like that. So I thought, screw it, I'm just going to start writing and see what happens. So I don't know at what point I came to the theme of like the first album is like basically it's like a concept album of like the end of the world, which is quite like apt for now, isn't it? But yeah, it's got like a theme going on, like the songs got like they tell a story through the album, and I mean it only took a couple of months to record it because I had that many ideas just sitting there. And it's sort of like someone described it as space metal, and that is perfect for what it sounds like. It's sort of like yeah, it's like intergalactic metal. But yeah, it was really fun to record, and obviously it's great working by yourself on something like that because the only person you can argue with is you. So I started that up, and I thought I was trying to think of like the band name. I think I had quite a few of the songs written before I came up with the name for it. And the guys know this with me. When I do a project, I like to and do it quite quickly from start to finish. It's not like this long-winded process. It'll be like 2 or 3 months and an album's done. So that came out April last year, Close to Extinction, the first album. And then I wasn't going to record a second album so soon, but COVID-19 happened, and I was bored. So I think what was it? The second album got done in 2 months, start to finish.
So you got a big interest in space, astronomy, and all that.
Yeah, got the galaxy in general. Just like it's just like it. Yeah, so I like sci-fi stuff basically. Yeah, so
you have to send me an MP3 to play on my podcast.
Oh yeah, cool.
I don't think one of your songs. I don't think so. Anyway, let's get back to Acherontia Styx before you take over the whole interview. So, have you got anything? The album's coming out in 2 weeks' time. Have you got like a promotion plan? What are you doing to get other than coming on here to 13 people? What are you planning to do? Have you got any PR company involved? Are you gonna? Yeah, are you doing your own posting ads? Because I do get quite a few emails from you, like this is coming. You're quite good at putting yourself out there. Because I've noticed a few emails straight from you, aren't they? The Darrow Delph ones. You've not got PR already involved, have you?
That's generally just me. From time to time, basically when I've had enough of staring at screens and social media and all that kind of stuff, we use a company called Metal Coffee, based over in the States. Great guy. Maybe about 2 or 3 times a year we've got a release coming up and I'm already washed out with whatever we've been pushing through the label. I'll kind of go, right, please, there you go, dude, will you just take over this for a couple of months for us? But generally we just do it all ourselves. There's no real kind of stress with it, you know what I mean? We're all older guys, we've got kids and families.
Speak for yourself.
Sorry, Jake, the ageless down there with his perfect complexion.
He's got a face like a baby's ass.
I don't think any of us really want to be famous. I wouldn't want to be famous. Can you imagine me being famous? It'd be awful. Straight on the Michael Hutchins train, mate. That's where I'm.
Strangle wanking yourself to the end.
Well, he does that on a daily basis anyway.
It's. Where's my belt?
Still has a tolerance.
You know, we just put it out there ourselves, and you know, if people listen, wonderful. But you know, we're a little bit older. We just love making music. So if nobody was listening, we'd still be putting it out there just because we enjoy writing it. Yeah. You know, writing like this has been really, really good crack. You know, it's just take our time and.
I mean, because you say you've been doing bands for quite a while in the past, and you find because for a while you wasn't doing anything. Like you started in 2007, you had quite a long period you weren't doing anything. Is now the right time because you're more mature, you're more grown up, you know what you want to do, that kind of thing. Has growing older helped you become wiser and whatever?
When we play live, I'll definitely be using a mic stand because if I try and jump around the way that I was when I was 23, 24, I'll give myself a heart attack and I will die on stage. And I don't doubt that for a second. So, yeah, I'm going to go a little bit Steven Tyler in that respect. I don't know, once we've managed to get together a few times and we can set a practice schedule, we'll just see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to play live. We'll just
definitely
do what we do. Same attitude would go forward into the live music, I think. If people want to come. If they don't, then sod it.
Yeah, no, I think it's important that you know, we said from the very beginning that this needs to be fun.
Yeah,
and that's exactly where it is. You just, you know, we enjoy writing music together, and I've no doubt that when it comes to gigging, we're going to enjoy that as well. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I just think that, you know, that's just very important. You know, if people come and watch us, awesome. If people don't, we're not really bothered. We'll have enjoyed playing. It'll be fun. But buy a t-shirt.
Yep, we just got to grease Adam up, and everybody will be straight along there, just like, oh, look at him. It's like the guy you've seen Lost Boys with a saxophone player. That's what we're going to do with Adam live. He's just going to be up there, covered in oil, like, yeah.
See, because I'm the giant of the band. All of these are short asses.
Yeah. Your nickname's Gargantua, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can't tell by this, but I'm 6'6".
Yeah. I thought Jake would be when he was sitting down. I thought Jake's the one called Gargantua. No. I looked it up. Oh no, it's Adam's Gargantua. Okay.
Yeah, me. I don't want me to do that on camera, Jake. No.
It says here Grant's nickname is Ron Baseman. That sounds familiar.
My first band when I was like a teenager, the early days of the internet, like, you know, we're still printing off band posters on dot matrix printers, you know what I mean? Very, very early days of having a band website. The other lads in the band posted up that I had died and I've been replaced by the bass player, Ron Baseman, and it just kind of stuck as this musical / tequila-induced alter ego that I had. You know, especially when I drank a lot more than I do now, it would be a case of, right, Grant's had a couple of tequilas, Ron's out, and then, you know, the pants were off, and it would just go very, very bad, very, very quickly.
I always notice when you get pissed when you're doing a gig, you don't think you're doing bad, you think you're doing brilliant. It's like, oh yeah, I've been really good. I'm actually wankered. I'm killing it. When you're actually just like pissing on the fucking microphone or something like that, yeah.
Well, that is part of our set, but it's unrelated.
You've just ruined it.
Grant, have you been going stage directions?
It's actually part sex show, music experience.
So, in the future, when all this COVID is over and you're starting gigging, will we be seeing a triple-pronged attack of Fractured Planet, Dinenfowl, and Acherontia Styx doing a tour, like you know, be a fucking busy night for you? But could you imagine that being a tour?
That is an excellent idea. I've never thought of that.
I actually haven't thought of that. I mean, I said the other day that I would, you know, I've never ruled out doing my solo stuff live. I'd certainly, if you guys don't mind playing it, it would be a laugh.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of drumming to me. I've only got about one set list. Stick the laptop on stage.
I've never got to do
the Fractured Planet stuff. Yeah, the Fractured Planet stuff I would literally do with like a backing track. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things where like I've got everything in backing track form, sort of. Anyway.
Yeah. So you could do it on your own, solo, on your own, kick off the show.
Yeah.
Then, something like that.
It's definitely something we've toyed with.
Yes, it's not a bad idea.
It's cool idea, actually.
About 5 minutes left. I don't know what to ask now. What's your favourite lyric from one of your songs that you've written? Favourite lyric, or that that you might have written the lyric yourself, but like maybe one of the other persons wrote a lyric that you think is really cool. About if Grant, you write some lyrics and Paul writes some lyrics. What's your favourite lyric of Paul's, and what's your favourite lyric of Grant's?
I don't really know. I don't really like Paul's songs, if I'm perfectly honest. I know now's probably not the time to be saying it.
That's revelation for you.
Paul has left the chat.
My favourite one of Paul's, it's the same breakdown bit that Jake was on about from As Above, So Below, where it kind of fades in off that build and the 2 by 2 by 2 they march to the grave. That whole verse, it's like getting hit in the face with a sledgehammer. It's absolutely amazing. It's not so much to do with the poetry of the lyric, but the way that he structured that vocal pattern it's a work of art. It really, really is.
The way the lyrics flow is more of interest to you than actually what the lyrics are, but the way they flow with the music.
Well, because of the way Paul writes, he writes a very kind of not over, but very encapsulating view of a particular scenario in a particular situation. You get completely washed over by it to the point where when I listen to Paul's stuff, and the same is true with his Dinenthal stuff, I get so engrossed in the way that he structured stuff that I find myself not really listening to one part in particular, and more just kind of drifting off with it. Whenever I put the press releases out for Dinenthal, I always say it's more than just a listening experience with his solo stuff. You just you go on journeys. Maybe that's just me.
That's a pretty decent review. You got to give him a reach around there, Dinenthal. Give him a reach around and say what you think is best.
I think I definitely owe that boy a reach around.
Wrong stream again.
It always goes extreme every time. For me, the entire lyrics for Dressed Anew, I just think are absolutely unreal. Every single line in that is just phenomenal. I am God, mirror of you. It's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But seriously, everything else that you write is, I mean, the way Grant writes, like I say, he's very literal, and I've always said he's like a wordsmith. He just comes up, he can make he can make KFC sound like absolute carnage. He could write the recipe for KFC down, and it would sound like an absolute fucking bloodbath.
He's saying he could actually have. There is a song that's lined up for the next album, and it is just how to cook and prepare fried chicken. But it's written in such a way that it sounds absolutely monstrous, and I can't wait to put it out.
But yeah, seriously, Dressed in You, it's a phenomenal. I mean, the whole song, music included, it's a brilliant song. That's the reason it's my favorite track on the album. It's brutal.
So, I always think lyrics are a very important part of the song. Any band that I listen to, the lyrics are very fucking, and the way the singer puts the lyrics into the song is all. I mean, I think the vocals are like another instrument kind of thing in the actual song itself. What about Adam and Jake? What's your favourite lyrics?
Mine is one of Paul's. Actually, it's off As Above, So Below. It's the line you mentioned before, the sever the head of the serpent. It's just the delivery of that line coming into that riff, because it just explodes in. And it's like, I think if you were in the same room as him, you'd be deafened by how loud he was screaming on this lyric. It's just like, it just punches you in the face so hard. And like, it just always caught us when he first sent over like the demo of the vocals, like that part of the song made us go like, whoa, that's amazing. It didn't really take you on a journey as such. It's just the delivery of that lyric just smacks you in the gut. It's great.
The patterns are amazing.
Yeah, and I think mine's kind of like bits that me and Paul kind of wrote together on that Evolution song, where it's like, we stare into the sun, hate deletes my soul from existence. Kind of like staring into like the beast of social media and tech, just kind of like chips away at you over time. I just thought that was like really cool, kind of like, especially since we're kind of like jammed it together between both of us. It's like it's a good song.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got a question before we finish up from Farley's Nerd Cave. Do you ever write lyrics that you like but don't put on an album because you feel it's too extreme? There's such a thing as too extreme for death metal?
There's definitely been lyrics I've deleted because they're too stupid.
It's like
they just go in a giant list.
Head and head together. It's like that rhyme's been done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Grant just puts out whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it's just because of the style of band we can get away with it, sort of thing. So, like, you'd agree with that, Grant, wouldn't you? Because, like, some of the lyrics on this album are disgusting.
Yeah, they are. I'm wondering what he means by too extreme, because the one thing about the Acherontia Styx stuff, and I think it's true of Paul's Dinenthal stuff as well, is that there's not actually any swear words in it. There's definitely not any swear words in any of the stuff that I've written. So, you know, I mean, with regards to extreme, if you want to be, you know, screaming, you know, fucking the C word and all of that kind of thing over and over and over again, then I don't really write like that to begin with in order for that to make it too extreme. With regards to the pictures that we're painting and the scenes that we're setting, no, absolutely not. You know, Lecter's about eating a banquet of people. Dressed in News about cutting somebody's skin off and making them watch you dance around in it. Yeah, you know, it is what it is, but put it across in such a way that it doesn't really sound like it's as bad as it is.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to sort of finish up now. So you've got your Bandcamp. People can stream your stuff on your Bandcamp. Is there any free downloads on your Bandcamp of anything?
It's not free at the moment, but the complete discography of the label's ridiculously discounted. It's like 80% off. I think you can pick up all of our stuff, all of Adam's stuff, all of Paul's stuff for, I think it's 18 quid or something like that, because I reduced it for one of the Bandcamp Fridays and then forgot to change it back. So
take advantage now.
Yeah. Everybody go on Bandcamp now.
I've just looked on the blog, and all the links I put on there is no link for the Bandcamp. There's no Bandcamp link in the blog, so I'll have to put that in there in a second. We've got Facebook, Instagram, official website, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube, but no Bandcamp link. That's annoying.
It's just daradelfrecords.bandcamp.com. It's an
pop that in the chat because I want people to go on there now. Daradelf Records, all one word, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you get some free streams anyway if you just want to check some stuff out.
Yeah, I think you can normally stream everything for free, can't you? And then for a while,
then buy it.
$18 for everything. That's all Paul's stuff, all your stuff, Adam, and all of everybody's stuff together.
Yeah.
So it's Daradelf Records at bandcamp.com, is it?
That's the fella. Yeah, if you find us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything, then it's all over that as well.
Yeah. The blog link should be down below. It's got all the links are there. Go and check it out. Go and give it a listen. And if you've got 18 quid to spare, you can get all their stuff. And that doesn't include the new album yet, does it? Because it's coming in 2 weeks' time.
No, that includes the pre-order for the new album as well. So you get the 5 tracks that are currently out there, and then the other 5 are going to be uploaded in a couple of weeks' time. There'll be videos going out for the single releases off the new album as well. As I mentioned before, that guy that wants the hot chick, he's going to love the Pleasures of a Flesh video. It's bordering on porn. It's amazing. It really is.
Awesome. Okay, so let me go around and just finish off, say whatever you want to finish off, go around, and then we'll bugger off. And everyone check out my podcast. I played these guys this week, Andin and Foul. The link's in the bloody blog as well. And check out my Patreon if you want more podcasts from me. But anyway, any last words from you? Just do a round table of your last words.
Buy a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt. Hit the TeePublic and buy a t-shirt.
You have to give me that link as well then to put in the bloody world.
Grant will
Yeah,
sort
just-
that out. It's fine.
I didn't send you the blog. It said, let me know if there's anything missing. I did send you the blog link. It said, let me know if there's anything missing from this page. You should have given me all those bloody pages.
Yeah. Also, I'll have to give Grant an MP3 to send you Fractured Planet stuff so you can have a listen.
Yeah, well, I'll play it on my podcast on Sunday if he sends me one
Yeah.
straight away. Any last words,
Yeah.
Jake?
Yeah, just enjoy the music, and my DMs are always open.
All right.
I don't even know what that means. I must be... Okay.
People will know.
All right, cheers, guys, for coming on.
Cheers.
I enjoyed that. Maybe we'll have
Pleasure.
another chat in a few months' time when you've started gigging and all that. Hopefully, you'll make it down to London. And maybe I'll do another interview then, like in person kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
That'll
great,
be
yeah.
awesome, Matt.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.